Welcome to Larry's Library. This week we got a special of sorts. This is the third installment of my comic book ad series, and I'm calling this one, let's see, Even More Cool Comic Book Ads. So if you like those other two installments at all, then you're going to love this one. I've got 29 more ads I've scanned from old comic books, and I'm going to share them with you here today. I'm going to make it easy on myself. I got my laptop here, and I'm just going to look at them and comment on them as I scroll them on the screen for you to see here. One thing about these old ads is if you primarily collect comic books in collected formats, you may have never even seen any of these ads because most collected editions don't put the ads in place. And I know what some people think, oh, who wants the ads? Yeah, sometimes they're kind of cool to look back at, but you know, we think of ads nowadays as being this intrusive thing that should be avoided at all costs, but we're mostly talking about, or at least I'm talking about television and that sort of thing, or YouTube, you know, who wants to watch those ads. Now, I think that some of the single issue facsimile editions that they have now does include the ads, and I think some of them don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I own any of those. But Garage Geek, I know he buys a lot of those. He could chime in the comments and let us know if those always include the ads or just sometimes. I know that the new gallery edition, I forget what they're called, but Omar announced a new series of galleries that will include the ads. I think they were called Masterwork editions. I can't remember now. I don't have that in front of me, but there's going to be a new series that do include the ads in that big format. So what I do with these is when I scan the covers for every book that goes in my database. You know, all of my comic books, whether they're collected editions or singles. As I read them, I scan the cover and I put that in there. So the cover I'm looking at when I'm looking at my software is the actual cover I have, not just a generic one. And anyway, as I'm doing that, I go ahead and if I've noted any really cool ads that I haven't scanned before or that I don't remember scanning, I go ahead and scan those while I've got the comic out with the flatbed, my flatbed scanner that is. And I collect them all in a folder until I've got, 20 or 30 of them, and then I'll plan to do another one of these videos. So hopefully I haven't repeated any from previous videos. I don't think I have. I'm pretty good about remembering which ones, so we'll see. Let me know if you notice a repeat. And I have, on the file names on these, I have indicated the year of the comic according to the date on the cover they were published. So we got kind of an idea, and I've put them in order by year, oldest to newest. So we'll get right into it. This first one is from an old DC single issue, and I don't know which one. I did not note which comic, but I have in the file name that this is from 1976, a DC Comics house ad, and really kind of a PSA. And this one is titled Justice for All Includes Children, #2. So I guess this was a multi-part series. I don't have one, at least not yet, and I don't know how many there were. But this looks to me like Neil Adams art. I'm about 98% sure this is Neil Adams. If you think you know, and chime in the comments, let us all know. Okay, so we've got some kids spray painting what looks like graffiti on the side of a building. And Superman is flying overhead, and he sees this exchange between a policeman and the kids. And the policeman's like, what's going on here? And they take off running, and he runs after him. And Superman and the cop are standing outside this place of business, and this guy in a tie is like, Officer Superman, my name is Harry Jones. Yeah, sure it is. I own this building, and I hired this boy to paint a mural on it. I don't know what they ran like that. And then Superman, and his hand on the back of one of the kids, he says, boys, the policeman was doing his job. He must investigate possible property damage. By running away, you have made yourselves look guilty. Dan here did the right thing. He's the only boy that didn't run, was Dan. He says, when a policeman approaches, remain calm and cooperate. His job is to enforce the law, which helps everybody. And at the bottom here it says, published as a public service by National Periodical Publications, Inc. in cooperation with the National Center for Juvenile Justice, the Research Division of the National Council of Juvenile Court Judges. Okay. So that is our first entry from 1976. Okay, now this second one is an interesting one. It's pretty interesting. This is new. Order the official Young America for 76 Bicentennial t-shirt now. And what was interesting to me about it was the kid on the right here, that is Todd Bridges, whom some of you may be old enough to know who Todd Bridges was. He was the kid, the older brother from the TV sitcom Different Strokes. Now, here's a shot of Different Strokes that I think is season 1 era Different Strokes. And that was in, let's see, 1978. So Todd Bridges is the older brother. He's in the lower part of this picture. And so that ad for the bicentennial t-shirts was 2 years before Different Strokes started. Now the next one I've got marked as 1977, and this is a full-page ad for Star Trek Lives, presenting Voyage 1 of the official Star Trek poster magazine. Only $1. So you sent away for this for $1. I enclose $1 for the maiden voyage only, or $10 for the first 12 voyages, and 50 cents for either to cover intergalactic transporter and postage charges. So you get a giant full-color wall poster, 1 for $1 or 12 for $10, looks like. Right. The next one is also from a DC comic in 1977. This is a really cool house ad for a lot of their horror books. They're advertising Ghosts, House of Mystery, Weird War, Unexpected, DC Superstars of Magic. Really cool ad. Awesome art here. Not sure who this is. Don't see any signatures, but if I had to guess, this looks like Michael Kaluta to me. Maybe. Let me know in the comments who you think this is. I think it looks like Kaluta. It's nice. I like it a lot, whoever it is. The next one, another one from 1977, another full-page advertisement. Join the Dinky Starfleet. I don't remember Dinky Toys at all. I do not remember this brand. I remember these toys, but I don't remember the name Dinky. Yeah, I've got 77 marked on this file, but the copyright is 1976 Paramount Pictures Corp. On the side of the Enterprise there. So lift off with the daring cruise of Star Trek, Space 1999, UFO, and others. So they're die-cast metal toys from all these different sci-fi TV shows of the time. Now the next one, another one from 1977, a DC house ad for Black Lightning. So that is pretty cool. I do not know who the artist is here. No obvious signature. If you know, again, let us know in the comments if you know who the artist is on this one. January 4th, look out for the explosive first issue of Black Lightning. So that is a cool ad. I like that. Now this next one I think is a really underrated era for Mr. Miracle. So this is after Jack Kirby left DC Comics in the 70s, the late 70s. Mid-late 70s. He left DC Comics, went back to Marvel again. You know, he went back and forth there for a while, if you followed his career at all. And so he left Mr. Miracle, and I think they weren't going to do anything with it. They let the title sit for a few months, I think, and then they brought it back. They made an attempt to bring it back with the team of Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers. And man, that art was killer. Too bad it didn't make it. I mean, it went on so many more issues, but Marshall Rogers and Steve Englehart did not stay on it too long. If memory serves right, it might not. But this was a house ad for the return of Mr. Miracle, and it features some awesome Marshall Rogers art there. Just spectacular, I think. And if they hadn't been following Jack Kirby, you know, they probably would have made it. But how can you follow that? It's a heck of an act to follow. Okay, now with this next one, we're into 1978. This one was really hard to edit. I tried my best to bring out the detail in this one, but it was so dark and the paper quality and the printing was so poor on my original. Photoshop could only do so much with it, you know, but I sharpened it up as much as I could. So this is a full-page ad for the Marvel Star Wars comic book, the first one. And it's wild, too, when you look at this. The only one that looks really bad here as far as the depiction, you know, from the movie to the comic book, is Luke. Luke looks like he's 10, 15 years older than he was, you know, in the film. And I think that's because when they did this early artwork, they hadn't seen the movie yet. No one had. You know, they didn't get an advanced copy in some form to watch. You know, all they had were some post-production art probably, and I don't think they even had many stills. I mean, that does not look like Mark Hamill, not in the slightest. But I do remember reading these comics, and I have the Omnis now. I liked them. Okay, this one is a 1978 full-page ad for Micronauts Battle Cruiser. And I never had any Micronauts toys, I don't believe. I might have had a small Biotron diecast, maybe. But that's probably about it. I didn't have any of those. I didn't have any of these vehicles. They were kind of goofy looking, I guess. I don't know. I guess they were okay. But they could do, you know, make different shapes and things. And if you look at the special Marvelous offer, just because we love you, we'll send you 2 free Marvel comics when you cut out and send us the upper left-hand corner of the Battle Cruiser box. Okay, so if you bought this Battle Cruiser, then you could send in part of the box and get 2 free Marvel comics. So, all right, and that's, oh man, but you got to cut your Marvel comic to get the coupon to put in there, because this is the coupon. Okay, another 1978 full-page ad. This is a house ad for Marvel. Double Dynamite from Jack King Kirby, Machine Man, and Devil Dinosaur. And you know, if I got the sequencing right, and I may not have, I didn't do any prior research to getting in here and doing this video, but I think when Jack Kirby left DC and left Mr. Miracle and all the other Fourth World stuff just sitting there, I think that's when he came back to Marvel and he did Machine Man, Devil Dinosaur. I think I got those years right. I'm sure you guys can let me know in the comments if I got it wrong. But and then the bottom half of this full-page ad is for the Spider-Woman, the first Spider-Woman series, which is pretty cool. Now this one is my attempt at piecing together a centerfold ad, and I remember this ad. This is an awesome one. Heal, Super Dogs. It's the infamous Milk Duds Super Duds sweepstakes. So Dr. Doom is representing here. He likes the Milk Duds apparently. And you had a mail away coupon for something here, a sweepstakes offer. Yeah. So yeah. Took me a long time to piece this one together in Photoshop and to get it as close as I did, because I had to scan it in 2 sections on my flatbed and then piece it together later. I think I did all right. This one sharpened up really nicely. The colors really pop on this one. Love it. So this next one is a 1978 full-page ad for, now this is the Star Wars Fan Club. An exciting offer for Earthlings. You could send off and be in the official Star Wars Fan Club. You get a 20 by 28 poster. You got a heat transfer t-shirt embroidered jacket patch. Okay. Some color decals. Star Wars book cover. A newsletter. You got a membership card. You got an 8 by 10 color photo and a wallet size photo. Let me know if anybody watching this joined the official Star Wars fan club back then. I did not, but I remember these ads. Okay, now here is a quarter size ad, I guess. The Marvel Explosion Comes to Television. So this was advertising the Marvel cartoons of 1978. Amazing Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk. Now this one I've got marked as 1979. Yeah, so these are advertising full-page ad selling the Marvel calendars from 1979. And look at that beautiful Silver Surfer there. I'm going to zoom in, see if these are all calendars or not. Now you got books here too. There's books and calendars. Sons of Origins, a couple of box sets. It says you can get Origins and Sons of Origins in a box set. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I think that Silver Surfer there is that infamous original graphic novel by Lee and Kirby that has, to my knowledge, has not been collected in anything. I mean, maybe it came out as an OGN, but I don't think there's been any recent modern reprintings of that. And that cries out to be a gallery or a small omnibus maybe. But man, I had that book. I don't think I had the hardcover. I think I had the soft cover. You could get it in either one if I remember right. Yeah, and I think it even says it in this ad that you can get the soft cover or the hardcover. And man, I remember that book was awesome. The art was just beautiful. I really love that book. And sadly, it's a part of my original collection that I did not retain or reacquire in any way. And I haven't seen a copy since. So this, man, Marvel needs to reprint that badly. Now, I heard some rumblings somewhere. I don't know, in the comment section somewhere. Someone said they thought that maybe this one had not been reprinted because there was some copyright issues involved because they gave Kirby partial ownership of it somehow. I don't know. That seems unlikely since it is wholly owned characters of Marvel. You know, Galactus and the Silver Surfer, and so I don't know. I'm not sure. But there has to be some reason this thing has never been reprinted in a modern, edition. Okay, now this one is from a 1980 comic book. This is a full-page ad, and I believe this is from one of the Marvel Curtis magazines, the magazine-sized comics. This probably came from one of the horror magazines, maybe Tomb of Dracula, perhaps. But you got some beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz art there. Yeah, and this is advertising Marvel Preview number 21, I think. That's what it says down there. And then another ad from 1980, another Moon Knight ad, advertising, the same book. And this one I remember because I scanned this one pretty recent to the time of this shooting. This one was in one of the Howard the Duck magazines of the time. But man, just look at that gorgeous art. Tom Palmer inking Bill Sienkiewicz is kind of perfect, isn't it? I think so. Okay, the next one, it was also one I scanned out or recently read. Howard the Duck magazine. It's a 1980 full-page ad for Savage Sword of Conan. Pretty sure this is Big John Buscema inking himself. That's really what it looks like to me. Yeah, it could be a different inker, but that really looks like he's inking himself here. It always has a really delicate but detailed light inking. Light compared to Ernie Chan. Surely, that at least. Okay, now this one, I debated with myself whether to include or not. This is also from a 1980 Howard the Duck magazine. Is it an ad or is it just a page for the magazine? And I counted it ultimately as an ad because I'm betting that this ran not just in the Howard the Duck magazines, but probably all the other Marvel Curtis magazines of the same era, same year and month. Because this was separate from the final page of that story, because I just read it recently, I remember. But yeah, I think this is Michael Golden. I'm pretty sure this art is Michael Golden. I don't see his G, but he wouldn't have signed it probably. They probably lifted this and then used it as an ad. It's probably from a panel from that issue is my bet. But, if you look at the credits it's listing for that issue, it's saying Michael Golden and Bob McLeod. And that really looks like that. You can kind of tell if you look at his eyes. And of course, there's only one human in the shot, so you got to look at Beverly's eyes. If you look at Beverly's eyes here, maybe I'll zoom in on that a little bit so you can get a better look. But that looks like a Michael Golden female eye to me of the era. I think it's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful work. Michael Golden is one of the best ever, in my view. And, yeah, I think that's him. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Or if you think I'm right, let me know too. Just feel free to comment. Yeah, I love that one. And that's from 1980. Okay, now we're in 1986, according to my notes here. And Cap's going to star in a Broadway show. What? Yeah, that happened. I remember reading these ads. And maybe you can star with him. So this is a casting call in a Marvel comic book. If you're a girl between 10 and 14 who could sing, dance, and act up a storm, you might be just the person Cap's looking for. He needs a bundle of talent to play his very special friend, okay, in Captain America, a musical spectacular due to hit Broadway next spring. Interested? Then send a photo and background info to Linda Watson, and we've got some contact info here. Do it today. You wouldn't want to let Cap down, would you? If anybody is looking at this video, if you have seen that Broadway show, let us know in the comments, please. How crazy and hokey was it? Did it happen? Did it actually happen? I'm assuming it did. Also from 1986, we got a Marvel House ad. And this was in one of the Epic comics. I think I lifted this one. I scanned this one from one of the Marvel Epic ElfQuest issues from that year. So this is advertising Gru the Wanderer. And of course that is Sergio Aragonés. I think that's how you pronounce it. This one's also from 1986. So this is a Marvel subscription ad, full-page house ad. Fight the price increase blues. I love this image of Captain America here. I think it's probably John Romita Sr., but I could be wrong. But he was the the art director for the look and feel of everything Marvel there during this time period. I mean, it started to taper off in the 80s, but right before that, he certainly was. And I think they reused a lot of his stuff for a long, long time. And sometimes, even if he didn't draw the entire thing, he would rework faces. Like they would give something to Kirby or some other, artist, and often John Romita Sr. would redraw the faces because he wanted a consistent look. And some of those artists just didn't really adhere to what they wanted for the Marvel house style. And he would fix it. So, anyway, I think this is John Romita Sr., pretty sure. But I love this this image. In fact, I have scanned this image before, and because the lines are really clean all the way around, it easily lifts out in Photoshop. With minimal skill required, you can lift that out and place it on another background. And I've done that to make wallpaper many times. In fact, if I can remember to do that, I'll throw it in here and show you all the wallpapers I made using this image. Okay, also from 1986, we have an ad for Star Wars droids. Full-page house ad for Star Comics. I don't think Star Comics made it very, very long. This was a kid imprint they did for a while. Never had any of them. I was too old at the time to be interested in that, I guess, but it looks cute. And that is John Romita Sr. I assume it's Senior. Doesn't say, but it just says Romita. Now, I have this one marked 1986 also, but the copyright out the bottom in the bottom left corner says 1984. So I don't know. I either was mistaken or they just kept using the ad for a long time. This is a PSA from Marvel. Public service announcement from Marvel. Power Pack and Spider-Man. Tips on ways to prevent sexual abuse. And this is pretty cool. I mean, Marvel really just was very frank here. And I remember all these lines. And I mean, I know I've seen the ad, but I think I remember them just from the TV ads and of the time, the TV PSAs on this. So I guess this was kind of boilerplate, that the message they were trying to put out there. And it, I don't have a problem. I think it's great how they did it. Because, I mean, I remember it to this day, your body belongs to you. I won't read it all, but you can read it for yourself if you want. But yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit, so if you want to read that, you can. But pretty cool. Another one from 1986, The Saga of the Hobgoblin explodes in 86. So this is a full-page house ad. This one, the quality of the printing on this one was bad. I did everything I could to punch this one up. It was kind of dim, and the color was really washed out in the copy I have. I tried to fix it as much as I could in Photoshop, but I can't work miracles sometimes, but I thought that was a pretty cool ad. Now, this is really interesting. This is another, I've got it marked as a 1986 full-page ad out of a Marvel comic. And meet the AI gang. 5 computer whiz kids of the 1990s whose favorite game is solving crime. Okay, so they're saying 1990. I'm saying 1986. Let's see if I zoom, if there's anything to be learned here. I don't know. I mean, it is sci-fi, so maybe it's set in the future being 1990s. I don't know. But this was a $2.25 paperback at the time. So it's a paperback novel series. And I'll punch this up and let you read the paragraph and I'll read here. AI may mean artificial intelligence, but these kids have plenty of the real thing. And they put it to good use when sabotage threatens their scientist parents thinking computer project. Using computers and brain power, they keep the project safe and discover the enemy before it's too late. Get in on the action. See if you can unravel the clues to the villain's identity before the gang does. Read all the books in the series and look for details on the Great AI Gang Contest at your local bookstore. So that is pretty interesting. I mean, today, especially if you read a lot of tech news like I do, if you're a tech enthusiast, and probably even if you're not, just if you're watching the regular news, they are trying to shove AI down our throats at every turn, and I am really sick of it. But when I seen this, it wasn't that long ago, I seen this, it made me laugh. I thought, wow, this was way ahead of its time, huh? Let us know down in the comments if you read any of these AI Gang paperbacks, because I have not. Nice painted art in this ad, though. I don't know who it is, but nice. Okay, another 1986 ad. So this is an epic full-page house ad from Marvel advertising the Dreadstar comic, Jim Starlin's Dreadstar. Love that stuff. I have every single issue of this. Loved it. Somebody on our team is playing for the other side and racking up one heck of a body count. The great Jim Starlin. Now this one is from, I've got marked as from 1987. This is a TSR ad. Now if you, some of you may be old enough to remember TSR, but they're the original owners of the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game series, and they also owned a bunch of other role-playing games that kind of spun off or had the same mechanic but with different genres. And this was one they did with jointly with Marvel Superheroes role-playing game, and I played this. I remember this one. What a terrible ad, though. I mean, they did a full-page ad. I think this might have been the back of a comic book even. And look, they've got 60% of this ad is bigger pow, better wham. Tell you right now, that kind of thing never appealed to me, not as a little kid and certainly not later. So, I mean, you know, they're trying to attract people old enough to play an RPG. This is not how to do it. So this was a very poor ad. I mean, it would have been much better to have the box art here in that large 65, 75% of the full page there, and maybe put the bigger, if you're going to go with the silly trope of pow and wham, put that smaller. I would have swapped these two elements is what I would have done. But they didn't ask me. But yeah, let us know in the comments if anybody out there watching this has played the Marvel Superheroes RPG, the old TSR one that's in this ad. I did a few times, a couple times, briefly. Another house ad from 1987, obviously. It's 1987. Do you know what your children are? Paid for by citizens in support of the Mutant Registration Act. Pretty cool ad. Here's a goofy one. A little bit goofy, at least to look at. But it's a great message, though. This is an 87, I think this was either the inside, I think it was the inside of a cover, or maybe a back cover of a Marvel comic. Here we got Meatloaf, humongous rock star of the universe. What a weird title. In Heroes Helping Heroes. So this is Meatloaf doing an ad for the Special Olympics. And it's a joint ad with Marvel Comics, because you got in the third panel here, all the Marvel heroes saying, we'll help Meatloaf, but how? And he says, by returning this coupon today. And then if you zoom in here, if you clip this coupon, if you mutilate your comic book, I always wondered if they would accept a photocopy of these. I think they did, because I think I did that, not for this particular one, but for other things. I think I had photocopied my comic pages before, so I wouldn't have to cut out the coupon and screw up the comic book. Either that or I'd buy another copy of the comic. You know? Or I'd try to get it from, I don't know, I guess that's really your only choice. You either buy two comics to cut one up, or you try to do a photocopy and hope they accept that, which, why would they not, I guess. But so this was the superheroes need 250,000 of their friends to help the 87 International Summer Special Olympics Games. So if you send them $5, you could get a record or cassette of the official theme song and theme music of the 87 International Summer Special Olympics Games. It says, I understand that a portion of the proceeds from this record will benefit the 87 International Super Special Olympics Games. And then you fill out your info there, and you include $5 for a cassette or record, and then $2 per record or cassette for postage. And then part of that money went to the Special Olympics. Pretty interesting. You know what I think I might do? I will try to find that theme. I'm assuming that Meatloaf sang it. I don't know. And that is the last one. That is all 29 images. So what did you think of these? Did you like these? What was your favorite? Do you remember any of these ads? So I hope you like taking a look at these. Give me a thumbs up if you like this stuff. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do that, because that helps the channel out big time. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.